All right. Good evening, Star Seed family. So I would like to draw your attention. You don't have to get your books or go to your Googles. I have it right here. But if you want to write it down and revisit it later, I'm going to be referencing a couple of scriptures. So I'm going to start in the book of Psalm, chapter 91, verse 11. And it reads, "For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways." And now we're going to stay in Psalm, but we're going to go to chapter 119, and we're going to go to verse 105, which reads, "Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." Then lastly, we're going to go over to the New Testament. We're going to go to the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verses 24 through 25. "Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock." Starseed family, for these few minutes, I'll be speaking from the subject of what's the spiritual 411. What's the spiritual 411? It made words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in the sight of Source and the ancestors. So be it. 411. What is 411? 411 started, he said, preach. 411 started as a telephone number used for directory information. You can dial that number. You can speak to an operator or an automated telephone operator, and you can ask that operator for information about people, businesses, organizations, and they will provide phone numbers and addresses for individuals or businesses. This is before the internet. You know, I would ask Adonis if he heard of 411 or know what 411 is about. But Adonis is an old soul, so in Adonis's past life, he knew about 411, and he knew about phone books too. So you could think of 411 as a human version of a phone book. Now, I'm sure all of us are of age to know what phone books are or have seen a phone book before, but you can think about this. This is crazy. You can go into this book, look up somebody's name, and find a phone number and call them. Public information. How wild is that? But this is before the internet, before the internet became mainstream, before it became accessible to everybody, and before we had high-speed internet. And that got me wondering, if that's both a gift and a curse, because the way the people use internet, it got me feeling like it should be like how people talk about podcast equipment. Like we got to put it up somewhere or increase the price on it or make people take a test in order to use the internet and podcast equipment, because people be getting up on these interwebs and just be saying anything. But anyway, that's not that's neither here nor there. But that 411 phone number that was used as a directory to find addresses and phone numbers, that evolved into the slang lexicon of what's the 411. And in the slang lexicon, 411 just refers to information. When someone asks, what's the 411? They're asking, what's the info? What's the news? What's the gossip? What's the details? In today's 2026 language, people might put it into the form of the question, what's the T? Give me the T. That's the 411. And you see how these, phrases kind of evolve over time. And that question, what's the 411, became popularized by Mary J's first album of the same name. So if you saw my promo video, that beautiful fly ass promo video that the goddess Rael created for the show tonight, she had that song, that title song from Mary J's first album, What's the 411, with Grand Puba. So the last track of that album, Mary J and Grand Puba, they over here chopping it up, or Grand Puba, he's plotting on Mary J. He wants to push up on her, and he's plotting how he's going to get his rap down, or to use a phrase that the kids use today, he's trying to get his riz together. But he's kicking it to Mary J. Mary J is like, all right, I hear you talking that talk, but I ain't stupid. You ain't about to play with me. You better be serious about this, But that term, that question, what's the 411, became popular based on that classic album. That's right, Anubis, classic album right there. So that's how that term became popular in the slang or the pop culture lexicon. So now that we got the physical meaning of what's the 411 out of the way, we're going to go over to the numbers. What do the numbers say from a numerical and spiritual perspective? Because here at Pronoia, we go beyond the surface level. We go below the surface. We get deep with it here. So we're going to get into what is the spiritual 411. Now, as I'm breaking down the 411 and the numbers, I'm going to do this from a multitude of numerology systems. We're going to use a little bit of the supreme mathematics, ties back into the daily mathematics that I did before I started this message here. We're going to go into the Chaldean and the Pythagorean systems of numerology. We're going to go into the angel and the synchronicity number meanings of the 411 also. We're going to look at how the single digits of 411 work interdependently and in relation to the physical meaning that I just broke down here. And then lastly, we're going to tie it all together. That's where I'm going to bring Goddess Rael back up stage at the end, because we're going to tie it back to one of her channels that she delivered to the family, several weeks ago. So we're going to start with these numbers individually. Start with the number 4. 411 starts with the number 4. The number 4 is the number of foundation. It's the number of innovation, thinking outside of the box. It's a forward, futuristic thinking number. And spiritually, 4, when you connect it to the cosmos, it's that number of divine order. Since the number 4 on a mundane level is about organization, structure, and foundation, when you think about it cosmically, that 4, you can think about all the planets and the stars, how they're orchestrated in divine order. That's number 4 energy right there. And a number 4 is followed by double ones, 2 1s. And singularity, as a singular number, that number 1 is divine creation and creativity. It's the number of authority. It's authoritative. It's that dynamic number. And in the supreme mathematics, it's the number of knowledge. So that's how we want to think about the ones in the 411 here, since in the physical meaning of 411, it's that directory. You call 411 to get information. So those ones are the information. that knowledge that you're looking to gain or acquire. And when you double up the ones together, it forms that master number 11 that we talked about for today. Today is April 11th. So we're talking about the spiritual 411 on 411. You see how we did that there, right? So again, that master number 11, yes, it's that spiritual awakening. It's that number of receiving downloads very rapidly and taking those downloads and those ideas and putting them into action. But the master number 11 is also the number of the enlightener. People who possess the master number 11, they're here to light the world with big ideas and to be a guiding light for others. Hence that scripture in Psalms. I think that was Psalm 91 that we talked about that dealt with the word being the light into the path. So when you're calling your spiritual 411, and when you call in spiritual 411, you're calling to receive those. You're calling for those downloads. You're calling for that guidance. You're calling for those channels. So when you're receiving that information, you're here to use it to guide others to the light, or to be a guiding light for others. Now, the 4 that precedes the double ones, it forms a foundation. So before you receive that light and those downloads, that knowledge and that gnosis, you want to have some kind of plan or some type of direction and organization, because knowledge, information, downloads without any kind of direction or organization is useless. When you receive that information, you want to have some type of plan. That number 4 is that number of planning. With that number 4, that's not the type of energy where you just want to go with the flow or do things all willy-nilly. That number 4 needs to be structured. It needs to be planned. So when you're receiving that information, you want to have a plan for it, for how you're going to use it, how you're going to apply it, and how you're going to use it to help others, which we'll get to in a minute when we combine it all together. That number, in addition to building that foundation, you also want to think creatively and think outside of the box, since that number 4 is that innovative number. So you can think about using that number or using that information in an innovative way, or you can go about innovative ways to acquire that information. So that spiritual 411 is about having a plan, having a foundation before you receive the downloads, and also maybe there's a need to think outside the box to determine how to use the information and how to get that information. Now, when we add it all together, 411, when we add that foundation to the ones of knowledge, or that 11 for downloads and spiritual information, that adds up to, can't make this up, a number 6. And number 6, like, wait a minute, what season of paranoia are we in now? What season of paranoia did we just start? Oh, 6, right? Look at that. Season 6, 411 adds up to a 6. And yeah, that's right. And what planet does the number 6 rule and is connected to? Oh, Venus. Look at that. Venus, ancient Venus. That's right. So we got that 6 energy all in alignment. The synchronicities be real. I'm trying to tell y'all. Well, I ain't got to tell y'all. Y'all be seeing it. Synchronicities be real. But what is the meaning of the number 6? What does that number 6 mean in the context of the 411? So once you built that foundation and you made the call, you built the foundation. Oh, shout out to Lady Saturn 22. You got both my energies right there. You got that Saturn. I'm a Capricorn and I'm a born on the 22nd. So shout outs to you. But that number 6, when you build that foundation and you receive those downloads, the number 6 is reminding you to use that information in balance, since that number 6 is the number of balance. And that connects to the April message, because in that video that we watched at the beginning for the message for April, one of the messages along with moderation and temperance was finding balance and restoring balance. So I'm giving the message within the month of April, and it's just another reminder to apply balance to everything that we do. And then number 6 is also reminding us that once we receive those channels and those downloads and that information, we must use it responsibly and have a sense of morality when we're using it. Since number 6 is connected to justice and recognizing right versus wrong. So number 6 is connected to balance. It's connected to responsibility, duty and responsibility. It's connected to right and wrong. And this is a perfect moment to go to a quick 10-second commercial break. So April 20th, 2026, we'll be having installment number 2 of Unmasking Morality with Mawu Lisa Temple, which will be on Zoom. So you can reach out to me, or if you're connected to Mawu Lisa, you can get that Zoom information. But join us April 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Unmasking Morality, Part 2. Now, back to the message. Now that we broke down the numbers individually, 411, what the 4 means, what the 1s mean individually, what the 1s mean together as the master number 11, let's go to the angel number meaning for 411. Now, according to the angel number meaning, now the angel numbers, those are those numbers that you see, those repeated numbers that you see repeatedly. Like maybe you're seeing 411 on the clock, or you get your receipt from the store and you spent $400 and $411 or $4.11. You just seeing 411 all over the place, and you wondering what that means. That's what angel numbers are, and also synchronicity numbers. So I'm going to read to you the angel number meaning along with the synchronicity number meaning of 411. So the angel number 411 means the angels are with you, ready to give you information and guidance. All you need to do is ask. All right. And that guidance and the angels being with you, that goes back to that scripture, that second Psalm scripture. I might be getting them mixed up, but that second Psalm scripture, as a matter of fact, I can go back to it. I got it marked and make sure I'm referencing the right one. Oh, see, I got it backwards. The 119, 105, that was the lamp unto my feet and light to my path. And the 91 verse, what did I say, 11? Yes, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. So Psalm 91, 11, that's the one that relates to the angel number meaning of 411. The angels are with you, ready to give you information and guidance. All you need to do is ask. And information and guidance, that connects to the literal physical meaning of 411. Back when you used to call the operator to get information, that physical meaning is the same as the angel number meaning. And asking your angels or source or your guides for that spiritual information, that's when you're sitting in solitude, you're sitting in your prayer closet, you're sitting in meditation, you're sitting in that silence so you can hear the messages and receive the info in that guidance. Now, when we go over to the synchronicity number meaning of 411, and the synchronicity numbers, 411 is the synchronicity number for friendly alliance. This number involves cooperation between parties. In order for things to proceed, you must work with those who are involved in the situation with you. It also speaks of cooperating with the universe and being open to receive. You may need a helping hand up or a good friend. You may need a helping hand up or a good friend is on their way to give you support. Accept the help and don't cause hurt feelings or step on toes. Working together and accepting help accomplishes much. This number can apply to artists working with a manager or anyone who comes in to solve problems and get things moving. I accept help and input from others. I don't have to do everything alone. So that's the synchronicity number, the synchronicity number meaning of 411. To be receptive, to accept the help, but in order to be receptive to the help, you have to ask for the help. Which a lot of us prideful individuals, we might have trouble asking for help, but you're not going to get the help and assistance if you don't ask for it. Closed mouths do not get fed. And in the context of the 411, since that was a telephone number, you gotta dial the number and wait for that ring. And once you dial the number and wait for that ring, you have to ask for the information that you want. If you just dial the number and the person on the other end of the line is answering like, hello, hello, and you're not saying anything, they just going to bang on you. They just going to hang up. So you have to ask for what you are seeking. Seeking you shall find. So so I'm getting to the conclusion here. So what's the spiritual 411? What's the 411 about the spiritual 411? So here's the 411 on the spiritual 411. In order to receive gnosis, light, knowledge, downloads, channels, information from source, you must build a strong foundation. That's the number 4. And then, of course, the knowledge, light, information, downloads, channels, that's the master number 11. But you must build a strong foundation. That's the number 4. So you can initiate and orient yourself. And you must ask for the information, ask for the guidance. Because like I said, if you call the number and you don't say anything, whoever's on the other end, they'll just hang up on you. And you won't get the information. You won't get the 411 you were looking for. And then once you get the guidance, you get the downloads, you get the channels, you get the information, you get the knowledge, either from within yourself or from outside or from above, you have a moral duty to share that information and share that light with others, and to use that light and that information and those downloads responsibly in the right conscientious way. So in this mundane world, the 411 is to get phone numbers and addresses. These days, websites too. You can add websites to that for individuals and businesses. But for us star seeds, the spiritual 411 is the spiritual information and the guidance, the knowledge, the light, the channels, the downloads. So that's the numerical perspective and meaning of the 411, to receive that information, to share the light, to be the light. Also to work in the dark too, but just I know that there's the duality there, but I'm speaking on the light because 11 is connected to the light according to certain systems of numerology. And and star seeds, you got to have the faith that your guides are with you, source is with you, and they will answer the line. So you got to have the faith that they'll answer the line for you, and you have to have the faith that they will give you and provide you the information that you need, so you can heal yourself and others, because that's the number 6. Once you add it up, number 6 is a healing number, so you can heal yourself and others, and so you can restore balance. And so that you can spread the love, because number 6 is the energy of love also. And we do what we do out of love, as star seeds. And that is the spiritual 411. So I'm gonna bring the goddess Rael back up to the stage, and as she's coming up, I'm gonna set this up for her, because she's the Transformation Tuesday. She's the mother, the starseed mother, or however Knowledge Born calls it. But she does that. But Transformation Tuesdays, that's her jam right there. That's her offering that during these monthly podcasts. So if y'all were tapped in, y'all remember she did a Transformation Tuesday on the subject of new frequency, who it is. And she had a lot of those phone service analogies going on in there. So I want, if you can, Goddess Rael, I just threw it off the backboard for you. So I want you to slam dunk it, and connect the new frequency, who it is, to the spiritual 411.
For sure. Wow. Okay. You should have. You need to give me okay. You really want
it. You got it.
You want the channel. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes, the spiritual. Yes. First of all, loving the spiritual 411, and we definitely get downloads, and those downloads come in. I'm looking at, all I can see is that who. But okay, all right. So yes, I didn't know that's the Transformation Tuesdays you was going to tap into. Yes. Okay. So we get the 411. That is when we tune into the new frequency. That is when we know that it's time to step in. Now, what I saw when you were talking was when you spoke about the number 11 being attached to light. I saw a light bulb, and I saw those 2 little lines inside of the light bulb, right? And that was like and those are like pillars of light, and you're right. You can go between light and darkness, but that 11 is definitely, it's like 2, all I saw was 2 like beams of light when you spoke about the number 11. And so, yes. Okay. So tonight, 411. For one, I love the information you gave us. Channeling is what I love to do. And you definitely, when you get those downloads, you have to have that stability. So when you talked about that number 4 being that stability, it's like a table to lay the information on. You know, it's like once you get the information you're going to do with it, you have to be ready. And it's crazy because like since I was young, I've been channeling messages. And at first I didn't really know what to do with this information. It would just come to me. And then because it was usually a premonition or something forewarning me of something else, most of the time when I didn't listen, it was like this close to death type of information. So it was like, okay, I know that I'm going to start getting these downloads. I need to know what to do when I get them. Like, what do I do? Like, when I see something, react. Like, you have to be aware. So when you have these powers, when you get these new uploads, you have to be prepared for it. And because we're in this age, like you said, of the quickening, it's going to happen so quickly. That's why this podcast is so important, because you mention it, so it's already there. It's there. You know it's happening. You know it's coming. So be prepared for it with that 4. The number 1 for communication and number 1 for being like, I think of the number 1 like as a leader too. You reach out to the leadership when you want information, right? You call 411, you reach out to somebody that you think is going to be able to give you the right information, lead you in the right direction.
Yeah, and right? Authority.
Yes, an authority. Number 1 is an authority figure. Because when I think of number 1, I think of Aries, right? Yep. I think of Claudia. She's an Aries. I think of someone who stands in their power. So you want to call somebody, you want to call 411, you're going to call somebody that's going to give you the right information. And they have the 4, which is the stability and the information. So it makes you feel comfortable calling. And it's funny, you were talking about the yellow pages. I'm like, come on now. Don't do that to us. Don't even do that. You took me all the way back. I used to play with people's phone numbers. I was a kid, one of them kids go in the back of the phone book and found the last person to ask them how did they feel being the last person in the phone. Yes, those were the days you could just go in and call somebody up and look their number up and look at that. How much information is out there, your public information. 11 is justice too. Yes, justice. Yes, the pillars. That's what I can see. All I see is like bright pillars. So yes, that number is very high vibrational. And that's why I used it when we did that promo. I was strategic. It wasn't just that I gave you number 22 to my sense. It wasn't just that. It was also that you have that high vibrational 11 energy. You know what I'm saying? It's like you are 22, but you also got that 11 energy, right? Of being fair and just, and you're like a teacher. So it's like that Mayat kind of thing going on. So yeah.
But I told you that Mr. Westbrook's adds up to an 11.
Yes. Oh, look at that. And then and it's so funny you kept saying that number 11 because when we talked prior, I shared with you 2 of my numbers were 11. Soul, urge, and personality numbers.
Yes, you did.
Were both 11, and so that number 11 continues to come up. It's been coming up a lot this month, and I keep seeing 444. I saw Lady Saturn. She's seen a lot of numbers. She's had 888, and it's been a lot of synchronicities. Again, it's the quickening. Those numbers are coming up. It's almost like codes, like alarms going off almost.
Yeah. Well, when the people see when you put out them clips from the Purple Room, we were talking about those cats and those protections, that trip of that 444 as an angel number, that is one of those protection angel numbers right there.
Makes sense. Makes sense right now, especially in this energy. Yes, 444. Yes, because when you talked about in April, like that karmic, that number 14, and I know all about that number 14. It's something about that number 14 that be trying to creep around me. I'll be like, no, I don't like that number 14, even though it is attached to temperance, right? You said it's a number attached to temperance. But I was thinking about what you were saying, and we're in the age of Aquarius. So it makes so much sense that everybody, you have to be accountable, because right now we're not in the age of illusion and delusion. We're in the age of clarity. So if you want to be presented or seen a certain way, you actually, in fact, have to be that way, because people are actually seeing the veils are gone. I feel like the veils are for me are gone, and they're slowly sliding off for everybody else. Like, so what we've been seeing will not continue, and I think that that number again, 11, is enlightenment. You know, it's the sun, it's clarity. Yes, because clarity is currency. Absolutely, it's the new currency. It's the new currency. Money's going out of style. The new currency is clarity. People don't want to be living in illusions anymore.
Yeah, that's the clarity that actually has value, because that attention as currency, that has a false value to it.
Yeah.
everybody want that attention,
Yeah, but
but
attention
attention
sways,
works.
it goes up and down. You know, attention is a frequency of up and down. People like you today and hate you tomorrow. So if you base your energy or your currency, your bank account, it could be 0, it could be 100, it could be 0, it could be negative, based on what? External validation. No, we got to find something else stronger to pull on. Yes. Absolutely. He said he in a 22-4 personal year. It's powerful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that means you should be working on building something. Building something that's gonna not only building something, but building something that's gonna last for longevity. Yes, you do something big for humanity this year on the 22 year, because for on the regular 4 year, yeah, it's about foundation and building and structure and all of that. But when it's a 22 4 year, that's when you got to start taking those downloads that you've been getting and start building them into something tangible.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that a lot of us are starting again to get those kind of downloads. And that's why it's important that you attune your frequency to what attunes to you. You know, I love that we have Mahatma Starseed here, because she deals with sound frequency healing. And those tuning forks, they tune to the sounds that their own frequency. You can't, it don't vibrate on any other frequency. So we have to get attuned to the frequency of and right now the frequency is honesty. The frequency is transparency, because if you're not, so the thing about like being human, like you said, we all lust, we've all gone through it. Even if you're not a lustful being now, you probably lusted when you was a child. You probably had a crush on somebody, whatever, what have you. We all live in we all have our faults. We have our things. Some people drink, some people smoke, some people lust, some people do their thing, right? But the thing about being honest about who you are is that you allow other people the ability to accept you for who you truly are. And you're not living in secrecy, because secrets spill out, and we're in the age of spillage. That's what I'm saying. People, you might as well just be honest. Yes, 11 on the clock. You look at that, 11 synchronicity. You might as well just be honest in this age, because everything is being exposed. So it's more like, and we have to start looking at each other as humans, like with flaws. And yes, somebody may have, you might, I know people who do, listen, spirituality is it's a band, it's a polar, some people dibble in the dark, some people are in the light. But if people were honest about where they're trying to go, then they will be less likely to be exposed in these times, because we're in the age of exposure. You might as well just be walking around being your true self, because it's going to come out. That's all I'm saying. There is no hiding from the light, and we're in the age of the light. And so that's why people are becoming so aware of everything right now. It's not just that we got cameras everywhere. It's the fact that we are living in the age of the eyes are being opened. That's why man-made cameras are everywhere. It's just mimicking spirituality. Everything is awakening. And so there's cameras and eyeballs everywhere. And so as we wake up, they want to see what we see. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we have to be aware of ourselves and not being embarrassed. I believe in embracing your shadow, knowing yourself on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always tell people, I know my shadow. I have sat with my shadow. You know, I have tamed my dragon. I have trained my dragon. That's the only reason why I can do a show called How to Train the Dragon, because I had to train mine. How do not slay my dragon, because I had to learn not to slay mine. You know, we have to go through these stages, so we can't really judge other people when they're going through it, but it's the honesty, it's the lack of honesty.
Right.
And people are not honest with themselves, so they're afraid and they're ashamed to be honest with anybody else. But you don't know how other people will receive you, and you don't know what demons and skeletons they're dealing with, that they may be more open to if people were a little bit more honest. Like, your past is your past, but people carry so much shame that, you know, I mean, there is things to be shameful for. Don't get it twisted. There's some weird shit coming out nowadays that I do not recommend anyone be doing and dibbling. But I'm just talking about there's a lot of shamefulness just in being ourselves. And we're in the age where, honestly, we just being ourselves is required, because that's the only way to integrate your shadow, is to really truly be yourself and be like, look, you know, yeah, sometimes I curse, or people be acting like they're just so holy, and it's like you're holding back. It's parts of you're just holding back that is never going to be, you're never going to be you again in your wholeness. This is the time to be you. So stop hiding it. Don't be out here being no crazy savage. Just be yourself. Like, and I think a lot of people are afraid and ashamed of that. And so this age of Aquarius is requiring it. And that light, that 11 number, that light shining on it, it's just a symbolic reminder that you cannot hide from the light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So what we think, y'all? Did the guys Rael, did she pass for today? Did she pass the quiz?
I hope so.
Test.
I will say the synchronicities over here be crazy on Paranoia. It really does, because you spoke so much on this, like, even this era we're in, and this new How to Train Your Dragon. It has a lot to do with us being, like, honest with ourselves, and with our, like, not always looking at things like, oh my God, because slaying your dragon could also be hiding yourself too. You know what I'm saying? Don't hide yourself. You know, just, you know, train yourself, train that ego, you know? So yeah, sometimes you might be a little boastful. Bring the shit back a little bit. It's okay to be you. Just train that shit. So I like that we are on a roll this season with the energy, with the same frequency in which the planet is, because I get excited when you send out those forecasts. I'll be like, okay, let's see if it goes with the downloads I've been getting. And it does.
Oh, wow.
It be in sync. I'll be like, wow. And that less energy that like, just don't, this month is just wow. That's all I can say. And I don't even watch the news, but it's been a lot.
Sometimes you can't avoid it, you know, especially if you're on the internet, you know, things just kind of pop up. Even if you didn't curate your algorithm for it to come up, it still kind of comes up. So yeah, I know it's unavoidable. So
yes, yeah. We got a lot to carry at this time, because we are moving in between two ages. That's also that 11. You know, it's the two different pillars. We move in between two different times right now. So that 411 it's important. It's important to be stable right now.
Yes, to be stable. You know, and the other thing about those pillars is you can also look at those pillars as doorways for entities to come in and out of.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
They could be benevolent or they could be nefarious entities coming entities or souls revolving in and out of those doorways right there too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and see that 4 is the gatekeeper. You gotta make sure you got a stable gatekeeper between them two pillars. That 411. It's crazy. The numbers definitely resonate with the energy that's going on right now. So make sure y'all tapping into the numbers and Mr. Westbrooks and his numbers, because I get excited when I hear it, and it does resonate with the times we're in.
Yeah.
That is being hidden in these times.
Yup. Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned tapping in, because this is a I have to give this reminder to folks, especially if folks are here for the first time. Now, when I do these monthly messages, and when I give these live, real time messages, I'm talking universal energy, unless someone drops their birthday or their cycles into the chat. But this is the energy that's affecting everyone. So if you want to tap in with me and get a more intimate understanding of what energies you're being affected by based on your individual personal birthday or cycles or name, I do that also. But when I'm on these platforms, I'm giving general kind of messages, similar to like a tarot Tuesday, or some other type of system. Someone might pull a card, pull a general reading or general energy for the collective. I'm doing the same thing with the numbers. So if you want to know on a more individual basis, you can reach out to me and we can have a conversation, one-on-one.
Yes, absolutely. I think those are very important to have one-on-one consultations when you're talking about numbers, or with you when you get a tarot reading. A lot of times, I ain't gonna lie, collective readings resonate because I feel like I tap in a lot with the collective energy now. And so sometimes it's like, wow, like I can hear a reading and it be just a general collective, but it be sounding real specific. Be like, oh yeah, oh yeah. And that's because, again, when you're in the frequency, and I'm actually hearing a loud frequency in my ear right now.
Ooh.
That is so crazy. Yeah. So when you in the frequency of it, it's like the messages will resonate for you. Like they will. It'll be like, wow, it feels like he's talking directly to me. He's talking to like the whole general population as a collective. So, I cheat the system sometimes because I do get into the frequency of, the universe. And once you do, those messages resonate. They come from everywhere. Like I was walking down the street and somebody was talking, and I heard, I just got a message. I was like, wow, that is so wild how the universe will just start talking to you.
That's really how it works. When people are like, show me a sign. What's the sign?
Oh
Oh,
man,
God,
it was
talk to
coming
me.
from
God,
everywhere.
give me a sign. Those be your signs right there.
But we be looking for a specific sign. We
Yes,
want
we
a
do.
specific sign because we want a specific answer. But if we would just
Mhm.
look, see, as a child, I think it's become easier for me as an adult because I've always looked for signs as a child. I'm a Pisces, y'all. I'm woo woo. I've been woo woo since I was a child. So, I was the kid that be like, okay, I'll ask God for something, and I'll say something like, "If the wind blow this way," and I believe it, like just that simple. Yep, that's it, and I just go with it. And usually, I be right about it. I'm just like I go
Mhm.
with divine messages, and so sometimes we doubt ourselves, right? We'll doubt our own intuition, and then we'll wonder why we're not getting the message. But you are. You're just not
Yeah,
listening to yourself. You're not listening to what's
right.
around you. You can listen to the birds chirp. They can chirp a certain amount of times, and that's your answer. You know, you hear that? That was hell no. Don't do it. You
Yep.
hear certain messages, but we'll be like, nah, that's crazy. That's not a message for me. Somebody will come
Yeah.
on TV and be like, you need a new car. You need a new car. You need it. And you'll be like, I don't think I need no new car. Bitch, you need
Uh-huh.
a new car.
Yep. Yeah, the birds chirping, shit. Even that wino who everybody thinks is a bumbling fool. He done
You
gave
got
you a
messages. You
message.
need no clone, Tyrone.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. Listen, the song goes, what if God was one of us? Just a
Mm.
slob like one of us, just a stranger on a bus, trying to make his way home. Come
Mm.
on, man. Y'all don't know. Oh, you get on my nerves because you said that, and we're gonna have a show on spiritual authority, because a lot of people are walking around talking to angels and not even knowing in human form. You don't know who you talking to, who divine has set in front of you, because someone is clothed in this human body. And so we have gonna have a show about spiritual authority, and how a lot of times divine will put certain people into certain people's lives to test you. You know, then you may think that person is a homeless person, and divine put that person specifically to see if you would give to that person, or if you would look down on that person, or what you would say when you walked away, because divine is always watching and hearing everything. So everything is a test of who you truly are. You know, divine hears you when nobody else hears you. He hears those deep, dark thoughts. What you thought about that person, when you saw them, like he puts that in front of you so you can see who you are truly in your heart. So, and the thing about spiritual authority, it doesn't show up on the outside. And a lot of times people will test people and not know what kind of energy they really truly carry until they test it. And then they test and they can't get the fuck up out the flames. But it's like, hey, you saw a bunny rabbit, but you ain't know that bunny rabbit had a goddamn gun. When the bunny turned around, the bunny had the gun. So we're gonna definitely get into spiritual authority over here.
Yup. That's I'm going to it right now. That's that's Hebrews. That's the book of Hebrews. That's Hebrews 13:2.
It was Mr. Westbrook. He preaching tonight. And yes, he started off. I was like, oh my goodness, let me go get the organ. Get that job going.
Yeah. That's Hebrews 13:2. That's let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels.
That part, and for sure, I know I have. Like, I have had people come into my life with messages, like divine messengers, which also tells me that if divine is sending a messenger, think about how much divine loves you to send one of the messages into your life, to try to bring you out of, or teach you something, or tell you something that specifically said, you know what, let me set this up for you. And so again, the way you treat what divine sends out, it's the way you treat divine.
That's right.
And so that's how we have to think of each other. You don't know who is in front of you. You don't know if that waitress who been on her feet all day has that anointing oil on her. You don't know. And so to be gentle with each other. We are supposed to be gentle with each other and show grace.
Yep, absolutely. And being open to perceiving that, or and accepting a message coming through that vehicle. That's that other aspect of that number 4 and that 411. Thinking outside of the box. People who have number 4s in their name or their birthday, those are the forward thinking, innovative thinkers who don't think like everybody else. Some people might call them weird because they ahead of their time, or while everybody's going left, they going right. Right. So that spiritual 411 message there with that spiritual authority is also reminding you that the message or that 411, that information may not come in a normal or an average or a regular way. It might come in a way that's different or unusual, or in a way that you or someone else might not be considering or thinking of.
Yep. And that's why you have to have discernment and be aware and know that what you ask for is coming. It may not show up the way you think it should. So just be prepared. That's why you have to have that 4, right? That 4 ready. Be prepared for whatever. However it comes, just be prepared for it, because divine answers prayers. And he also sees what you deserve. So be prepared for either way. Be prepared for whatever the 411 may be, whatever the information may be on the other side of that line. Be prepared.
Expect the unexpected. That's also another meaning of the number 4. Because the number 4, that's that Uranus energy, that odd and unusual type energy right there. So
the cray energy.
yeah, that cray energy. So it could be something that you're not expecting, or it could be at a time that's unexpected. Yeah, you want to keep all of that in mind, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, keep that and mind your mind, because that number 4 is that mental number also. That's that. You got to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind, so you can put yourself in position to receive, these downloads and these channels.
Yes, because there is a such thing as spiritual psychosis.
Yes, it is. Indeed.
We have to be careful. But I do understand, like, we are in a time where those who are awakened will become more awakened. And, we might start thinking, we might see more people outside talking to themselves, but they're not crazy. Believe me, it's all the downloads. They got to find a way to get it out. You're going to see more podcasts of people speaking spiritually out, because they got to get a way to get it out, because it's going to come in quickly. This is the quickening. So information will be coming in quickly. Just like that's why AI and everything is speeding up. It's because you are speeding up. Yep. And like we were talking about that, what's the 411? Yes, back to the who this. And when we get those downloads, it's definitely, they come quickly, because it's like you've cleared out all. That's the whole point. That was the whole point of the year of the snake and the shedding, was to get you prepared for how quickly everything is going to change. It's like you have to clear out the space and make room, like you said, like prepare for everything that's coming, because there is a lot to come, and it's a lot of you to come, a lot of you to step into. So you have to prepare for that too. We've been playing small for a long time.
Yeah, yes, we have. Yes, we have. We've been playing small. We've been sleeping on ourselves. We've been having this quote unquote imposter syndrome and all those things. So yeah, it's the time to step it up and really step into our power and our potential.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're gonna see what May has to bring. Y'all look, listen, I always go back and watch the videos too after the month is ended, and I'm telling you, they be resonating. I'll be like, ooh. And especially, I mean, you started off, I think it was October was the one where you first gave us the forecast. I think it was October last year when you first started giving us the forecast, because I remember you, if it wasn't October, it's the month before that, but you had spoke about how October was a preview for the year. October. Yeah, okay. And man, ever since you gave us, it's like your readings are almost like a damn tarot reading. I'll be sitting there like, oh my God. And it clearly, it plays out. It plays out in that energy on a collective scale. And again, I live in the collective energy at this time, because I'm serving the collective. So I feel what you're saying, like the frequencies of the energy you're talking about. I feel that as a collective. It's hard for me to even go into grocery stores now. I feel everybody's energy, and I'd be like, oh, y'all are so overwhelmed. Let's get out of here. I need to take a shower. I don't feel overwhelmed, but the collective energy is very overwhelmed right now. It's an overload of information. People don't know what to be worried about. It's not that people don't care. They don't even know what the fuck to care about. It's so much to care about, and it's so much that we have become. It's like becoming numb, because you've had an overload of caring. We've burnt out that part of us where we're trying to just survive all this shit that's going on. And so I don't think we've lost our care. I questioned where was the care when all of this stuff started coming out, but I realized that everybody's again dealing with so much that we don't know where that, we expend so much energy on caring that when it hit us now, we are so numb to it. We see, oh, this person, oh wow, that's crazy. Oh wow, that's it's not a shock anymore. It's just like,
that's going ahead to that spiritual, well, not just that spiritual authority, but that the importance of that protection, protecting the mind, body, and the spirit, because a lot of that burnout, It's by design. It's the work of the archons, throwing all this stuff at us to drain us, because they know that if they scattered our attention and our energy by orchestrating all of this conflict, the heavy energy in the world, and also having us working 40 plus hours a week to survive for basic necessities, and piling all the other things on top of us, they can keep us from, or they're trying to keep us from stepping into who we are truly supposed to be.
Yes, I heard that. I actually heard that as a download this week, that it's the self-actualization. They don't want us to self-actualize. And so that's exactly what I heard. And it says with the rise of AI grows, it's going to be very hard to tell what's real and what's not if they can't tap into your intuition, right? You need to tap. Listen, that's the whole point, is to confusion is the name of the game, right? It's to have us not knowing what is left and what is right. And that's why it's so important to know yourself, right? To trust yourself and to be vigilant of your physical being, because there is going to be manipulation. It's been introduced so innocently that we have to realize that AI is not the problem. It's who is using the AI and what it's being used for. Okay, so attacking AI is not going to get us nowhere. It's understanding how this can be manipulated against us and not allowing it to overrun everything. And that's what people aren't doing. Like, right now there's no boundaries. We're just using it all willy-nilly, but eventually it's to get us comfortable with it. That's what we have to understand. Like, that's the whole point. It's ease it on in there. Like, it's you're a virgin, here's your first time, let me ease it on in there with you. This AI, you want to play? Let's make some few pictures. Okay, now we're going to make a picture of you. Like, even the mouths being like super extra, they already got they showing us the old shit. They got the full-blown, looks just like me and you talking right like now. With all the mistakes and everything, not no perfect speech, because we know people don't talk like that, right? So when we hear somebody just talk like blam, 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 we know it's AI. So they know that we know that.
Yep.
Right. So within the AI, there's this list. We're watching people who we think are people who are truly AI, right? At this point, it's a mind fuck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But we have to be vigilant. And that's why knowing yourself it's always been the most important thing you can do, is not get caught up in everything external to you, because you will lose your mind. That's the whole point. Like you said, that's what the archons. Oh, I love it. Man, we got to when are we going to, there's so many shows. Archons, Gnosis. We got so much.
But but for real though, because they're trying to hit you with everything, trying to hit you with everything, attack you from all angles. so yes, going inside, inward, back to you, back to self is it's going to be most important. And all these shows that guys Rael just mentioned, all these shows are providing tools to help you get back to yourself, or help you stay with yourself if you're already to yourself, but you try to stay in there, and maybe you might backslide once in a while. You gotta get yourself back in your foundation. That's what we doing here, with all of these offerings and all these shows.
It helps you stay grounded in what you really truly here for, which is to know yourself into a way that you can't be manipulated, because the manipulation is going to get heavier, because it's about the air. Okay, so we're in the age of Aquarius. Air is frequency, and frequency Well, everything is the frequency. How you see me is based on the frequency. So if they can jog your frequency, you can see me differently. That's why people can manipulate. That's what magic is. It's a manipulation. Someone can actually manipulate the way other people see you based on being able to manipulate your frequency. So everything is air. We're in the age of Aquarius. You have to be aware of your frequency, your vibration. You have to be aware of what you give off in your mouth. Everything moves faster right now, and everything is being created based on frequency and energy. We were in the age of water before, so water is dense. It happens a little slower. You ever try to run in water? Not as fast, but air, they give you a little push. You know what I'm saying? Everything goes a little bit faster. So we in that age of air.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Donna said we're gonna get all the wisdom. Absolutely.
Right. That's a fact.
And we can go on with
when you come here, you use the grocery store analogy. When you go to the grocery store, you don't get one of everything from the store. You just come and get what you need. You gonna get yourself some bread. You get yourself some fruit. Some vegetables. You gonna get yourself some red lentil flour. If you don't need the yogurt, then you leave the yogurt on the shelf. So that's how you should approach coming to Pranoia. You take what resonates with you, but you should be open to receiving everything, and then from there you gravitate towards whatever resonates with your spirit.
Yes, I agree. And it's a variety here, but it's all we're all on the same journey to bring you to the same places to know thyself. If you want to know thyself through numerology, through storytelling, through the Rose Corner, through transformations, through what have you, whatever way that it is, we're going to try to return you back to yourself so that you could be the best version of you, so we can all be the better version of ourselves, because we are all connected. And so that's the whole point of this journey, is to help each other along the way, because we all need a little help and reminders. Starseeds don't need validation. We need affirmation. We need confirmation sometimes. Sometimes we want to remember that we're not crazy. So sometimes you need people to tell you, no, you gifted, baby. You're not crazy.